Oh my gosh, I'm back. I'm trying to get some things running here, and they're misbehaving, it looks like. Right? Yeah, this stream deck doesn't want to respond. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Let's get things started, though. You know what I mean? Like, let's head over here and do the thing. Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It is so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today, what day is today? Today is August 7th, 2025, and we're gonna write a little bit of code today. Yeah, how you doing there, chat room? I've got a stream deck here that's misbehaving, and it looks like I'm gonna need to restart or something here. Get that reconnected or something. Let's see if I can restart my stream decks and get them to come online. And now I can't control OBS because I clicked that off. Oh, that wasn't smart. Oh, that wasn't smart. See, look at that. I can't even hear that sound effect. Oh, and you know what? Oh boy, all my sound is off somewhere else and not configured right. Yeah. That's just ducky. And that didn't even come through, did it? But that is the right entry for that. This always happens when I go away. I come back and stuff just does not work. Ugh. Yeah, that is all the things for that stream deck. And it is... Come here, you. It's clearly plugged in, but it's not behaving at all. That's the one with my cool music sound effects. My retorts, my and thens, all that stuff. And the questions are being logged. You know that. And have I got some cool updates to share with you? Come on. I've got USB. There we go. I've got a USB hub here. There it goes. Now I've got it. Yes, there it is. All right. Got that fixed. Anyway, and also the alerts, they weren't coming through right because, of course, all of my audio decided to go somewhere else. Where is it? I know it's here. I can feel it. Give me 1 second. We're going to get right to the bottom of this quickly and get it all reconnected. It is... I don't say it. Nope. I think it's that one. Isn't it that one? No, it's in my overlays. That's the one I'm thinking of. What? Oh, no, there it is. I was right. Yeah. That should have played the audio. And now I feel shame. All right. We'll get in. We'll figure that out as we go along here. Let me say hello to you out there in the chat room. Let me head over here, and we'll bring that up, and we'll start chatting here. We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube, as always. How you doing there? I see Ved's improving on YouTube with a couple questions. We'll come back to that in a second here. Robson Previato, how you doing there? TMKDK, hello to you. Yes, and the Restream bot does send messages from YouTube to Twitch and back and forth. So everybody gets to see everything. TMKDK with a question about WPF. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, look at it. Oh, wonderful. C# Josh, thank you for the resub. 64 months with us, and the hype train has started. I see where it is. The monitoring device, yes, of course, is not wired up because everything got it got restarted here, so the PC forgets all the things. Indrac, how you doing there? PowerShell Freak with the resub as well, 66 months. Thank you for that. Reg9K, hello. Thank you for the kind welcome back. Yeah. The CTI Geek, good morning to you in Virginia. Yeah, hey Steve, good to see you. I am back, absolutely. And it is my Nintendo controller hat there. Look at that. I am in control. PowerShell Freak is planning to do a PowerShell module around the Aspire CLI. Why? Is this an investment or am I going in the wrong direction? Let's talk about the why on that. Yeah. Ergenrod with the resub, 32 months. Yeah, of course. This is going to frustrate the snot out of me. I've got to go track this down. Where did all my Stream Elements alerts? What happened? Yeah. I can see it here. Shoot. And now I'm forgetting how to get into the audio controls on these. Because it's been so long since I've done it. Over here, I can even see it. Advanced audio properties. We'll see if that helps. You're hearing some sounds? Fantastic. Yep, that's right, Alex. I'll come to that in a second here. You're amazed at how some tech systems just decompose quickly and others remain stable for years. CTI Geek, if I had left everything on, yeah, everything would just still be working. But no, I turned things off for 3 or 4 days, and the PC wakes up and says, I'm not going to remember any of your audio settings. We're just going to toss them out the window. Let me catch up here. It's officially your favorite hat you've seen from the collection? Thank you. It's like leather. The controller there. Smirking Squiggly, hello to you. You want to make it easier to use for the PowerShell folks. They're not so familiar with the .NET CLI. So the Aspire CLI is out there. Can't you just invoke that directly and pass in methods to that? Like, that is a thing, right? All right. So, a couple. Oh, good. I got some things delayed for me that I don't need to do today. Let me catch up on a little bit of the comments, a little bit of what's going on there in chat. Let me start with this. Let's see if the overlays work. There it is. TMK asking, is it possible to do WPF in Visual Studio Code with a graphical view in Linux? No. And the answer is kind of in the name WPF. WPF is the Windows Presentation Foundation. It is the advanced graphical UI framework for Windows. And just like the iOS tools, just like the Mac OS tools, you can't build Windows native applications, right, that are going to open and be windowed applications on non-Windows operating systems. You can write the code, but you won't be able to compile them because they're referencing and linking libraries that are only in the SDK that's on those operating systems. So just like Mac OS and iOS apps, you can write the code for it. You can even try to compile it, but you're not going to be able to debug it and get the graphical user interface unless you're on a Mac. That's it's a common limitation. Android being the outlier there because Android has made SDKs available for all of the desktop operating systems because there is no desktop operating system that is Android. So, good question. Thank you for that, and all the best to you. That'll get copied over and will be made available on the Discord. How you doing there, smirking squiggly? Let me go back to there's a couple questions there from Veds. Let me make sure that I touch on this. And you're asking for some advice. It sounds like with your partner, with a lady friend, and you're that she's a little sensitive, or maybe an overthinker, caring and acts that way. But sometimes you wonder if there's something more going on. So, some things to consider, some things to keep in mind. Okay. And I'm going to get some music playing in the background here. Spotify decided to run an update for me. Thanks, Spotify. That's so kind for you. I do have an alternate playlist on YouTube that I found is copyright free that I would like to try at some point. I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with synthwave playlist today. So we just have some groovy music back here. Where was it? I just had. Let's start here. Serenity. That's way quiet. There we go. This is music that's DMCA free, that's royalty free. You can listen to it wherever you'd like. Check it out on it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Music. There's lots of genres available that are just groovy groovy instrumentals that you can listen to in the background. Check it out at streambeats.com. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for the music we're listening to today. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on some things over here. So I sent some feedback coming off of the VS Live event that I was at over the weekend. But let me catch up on these messages from Veds here. So when you're talking about interpersonal relationships, right? Here comes Fritz the Love Doctor. Yes, I have been around a bit longer. Mrs. C Sharp Fritz and I is celebrated our 25th year wedding anniversary this past May. Dear God, 25 years. We started dating in high school. So in October, it will be 30 years that we will have been together. So 30 years, like literally more than half my life I've spent with this woman. So I have an idea of a little bit of what's going on here. So Ved's saying that sometimes she can be a bit of an overthinker. She's carrying and acts in that way, and sometimes I wonder if there's something more going on. Overthinking can be a little bit of a security blanket. In my experience, when you see somebody overthinking, they're trying to plan and get ahead and create that security of, and not security as in you're not allowed to log in here, but security as in reliability. That security of they have alternate plans if something changes. Hey, you know what? We're gonna plan to go for a picnic in the park this weekend, but if it rains, there is a pavilion there that we can go to. But if it's a bad storm, we'll be able to pick up and put stuff in the car, and you know what? We can just go have dinner over at Restaurant X. And you know what? I'm going to put in a reservation at Restaurant X at the local Red Lobster. And if we see the weather is going to be clear, I'll cancel the reservation, but I'm going to put in a reservation now just in case. And if you're a little bit more of a free-spirited person, that is so frustrating to hear somebody that's literally trying to set up and account for every scenario that could change between now and then. It's not that they don't rely on you. It's not that they don't believe in you. It's that they don't want things to change and get out of their control. It's a little bit of a control mechanism. They want to be able to control the scenario and make make that picnic experience the best that it can be. They're infatuated with you and they don't want to screw it up. There may be a little bit of ADHD just under the surface there, because they're going through scenarios and want to make sure that they do their best at interacting with and being with you. That's what I've seen in my experience. So, all the best to you, Veds. Yeah, happy to discuss further, but like, don't take it personally. Like I said, when they're thinking a little bit more like that, they're trying to measure and make sure that they're not disappointing you. So, or right, that, and even more so, you should try to be a little bit more reassuring. Oh my gosh, it's great to be with you here today. Thanks. Hey, you know what? Thank you so much for this, that, or the other that you helped out with. Reassure them. Just a quick thank you, paying attention to something that they did extra. Oh my gosh, you put a extra thing in your hair. Are those different earrings? Something like that. Little compliment, right? Something that you notice, something that's supportive, and a thank you gets them a reassurance, and will get them to let down some of that barrier. And I got to be on my best scenario here, right? Best behavior. I got to put my best foot forward here to impress. Get them to relax and realize that, hey, I have been doing a good job here. So, happy to talk further, but there's other folks here that we're going to talk to and get through. And I do see some folks mentioning the map there and sharing some information, some locations. We've got a couple of locations popping up on the map. Thank you so much. 3 locations on the map. Yeah, there we go. I see Sao Paulo and Virginia and Pueblo, Colorado popping up out there. Hello, hello. Yeah, 25 years, Deflux. Yeah. CTI Geek had asked previously about a Windows 11 Pro license cost. End up buying a pre-built gaming machine that includes an OEM. There you go. That's the best way to get a Windows license. Buy another machine that has an OEM license on it, and you're not paying for the OEM license. But it is so. CTI Geek, to that point, I went to my local Micro Center and bought a bare bones machine. The machine that I'm broadcasting with, I bought a bare bones machine that had it just had 16 gig of RAM on it, and I got a 2 terabyte drive with it, and the processor I wanted, AMD 5900, and then I upgraded the video card. Right, I had my choice of video cards. I got the high end at the time, GeForce 3700 video card, and then I installed my AverMedia capture card so I could run all of my cameras. And I before I even left the shop, I had them install. I said, I don't want 16 gig, upgrade me to 64. So they got to keep the 2 sticks of RAM that were in there and upgraded me to 64. Fantastic. So I got the upgrades that I wanted. Somebody else, that if it went wrong, I can go back and they'll fix it for me. Somebody else did that install, and they did it faster than I would have. And yeah, I would have enjoyed doing that install, but I got the machine the way I want, and I got my Windows license for free. So yeah, I'm right there with you. Plans work up and until you get booped in the face. True, Eric. True. How you doing, Mythin? Good to see you. Charlie is running in the background. Yeah, I mentioned the map is running. Yes, Ellieface, that's right. Wow. Wow, where is that? Yes. I did have a couple folks say that when I was in Redmond this week. And I also had a couple folks say, How much weight did you gain? Yeah. Thank you. I'm holding at 15 right now. I know I put on a little bit more weight while I was in Seattle this week, and I know I've dropped off a pound or two in the last day here, so we're going along good here. So thank you. That's very kind. And yes, that type of just little acknowledgement where to go goes a long way. Yes. You're buying from Micro Center in Charlotte. There you go, CTI Geek. Yes. So, how are my planned improvements for the map going? Asks Alex. There are a number of things that I think I'm getting right here. So here I can show you. Let's head over to the map. Right, we'll head over to the map because the map is running out there. So once again, if you are out there, if you're in chat, doesn't matter if you're on YouTube, doesn't matter if you're on Twitch, if you share your location, hey, how you doing? I'm watching in wherever it is you might be. It will grab that location and plot it on the map. And there is a little bit of clustering going on right now in North America. But saying hello, saying I'm watching from, hey, whatever, it will drop a pin, and I customize the pins for my stream so they're little ball caps. And we'll be able to share that, and there's a little map tour feature here that will zoom in and show some of those locations. You love Micro Center? Micro Center is pretty good. It's a hat over your house. No. Right, and when I share mine, I'm in Philly. That's not it. There we go with the typo. Right off the bat, thanks. There we go. And that drops a... Right, come on, what'd you do? There it is. So Virginia, and there's my little C# logo in Philly. What do we got over here? Right, the middle of... Oh, who did that? Coding with Carlos. No, there, I can clear that one out. That's wrong. Location, remove, coding with Carlos. And that'll clear that. There we go. Virginia, Ireland. Is there a Virginia, Ireland? Is that a thing? I guess so. There it is. So I'll zoom in a little bit there. So, exception handling for your... Yeah, that's right. Yes. So, Eric has parts incoming to build a PC. Holding off on the video card, though. Yeah, I get it. So, there we go. And it's already starting to group together Portugal and the location in Ireland. There you go. Bavaria should pick up, and we should get a map on that. Now, so there's a threading issue that I need to address that's misbehaving that I'm going to need to work on, because I have gotten the go-ahead to start building this out for .NET Conf. Stephen sharing Alpharetta, Georgia. There we go. I've got 3 here on the east coast of the States. There we go. So Florida, that one should have popped. There we go, and it plotted it on Miami. There is error handling around these, and the near future. Yeah, see, I do have exception handling around that one. Any plans on working on SharpSite again in the near future? Not until at least September. We have some updates. We have some fixes we've got to do for TagzApp. I want to do them right. And TagzApp is the application that we use here on stream. Not here on this stream, but we use on the .NET Conf stream that was built by you out there on these streams. Contributions from viewers that's used for that very large Microsoft hosted event. It's produced by the community. An app built by the community helps manage and share that. So we're going to spend some time on this. We will come back to SharpSight in the future. This is, you see this a lot with my channel. We park a project for a little bit, we come back to it. There's only so much that I can do on projects here live on stream, and we'll dip into a project, do some things, and then we'll dip out and dip into another project, do some things, and dip out. So, watching from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, petting cheetahs or whatever they do there. Did we get Ellie in the Congo? No. Did not get that one. And here's the thing. I can capture that and fix the map locator so that it finds those messages in the future and adapts and does the right thing. So I did spend some time. Let me open up Notepad. All of your favorite notepads. And also, why didn't it find Bavaria? Right? Yeah, it didn't find Bavaria. That one feels weird. That feels like a definite miss. Who was it who said Bavaria? Where did it go? No, it found... Oh, you spelled Alpharetta wrong. That's why. There we go. Okay. I thought I saw... Where did it go? Bavaria. Yeah, Alex on YouTube. Yalova, Turkey, we got that. But Bavaria, it should have found. If I go over here... Location sets... Oh, you know what? This might not work. Bavaria, Germany. Yeah, absolutely. It should have picked that one up. Right? Munich, it's right there. Right there, Bayern. No, it's not picking it up for some reason. What's the message that it's... Like, that feels like a big miss by the geocoder. That it's not liking that one. Unable to find location. Oh, wait a sec. That looks like it might be... It's parsing the message coming from YouTube wrong. I've got it on my list to follow up on. And Ellie's Democratic Republic of the Congo. Oh yeah, we're gonna track that one down. So we got a couple friends here on the East Coast. Knoxville, love Knoxville, Tennessee. Home of those fighting Tennessee volunteers. Yeah. Intercourse, Pennsylvania. I see there. How you doing, Alchemist? Bermuda Triangle? I know it knows Bermuda Triangle. But it didn't pop up. Didn't grab that one either. Man. This is what happens when you give somebody who works in QA access to this. To these things. I tell you. Could do a little adjust on the clustering? Yes. So, Robson, there is and I'll kick off the tour. There is a set of pixels. It's actually a measurement in pixels at the various zoom levels. That if the cluster is less than a certain number of pixels, right? If the locations are closer than a certain number of pixels, it generates the cluster. So I think there's definitely something we can do there to take care of that. Yes, how you doing, Pellin? Absolutely. Go ahead, break things. That's fine by me. Because it didn't break things, right? And I'm okay with when I'm zoomed out at the full global scale that we have clusters for each continent. I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with the Western Europe one being all grouped together there. Like, that's probably a little bit too far. And we can probably do a little bit better here at that level. So there's some tweaking there. Not terrible. Sandy Springs, Georgia. How you doing there, Chuck? And be his 61. Hello, welcome. Kansas should have, right? That's, did we get it right there? Lawrence, Kansas. Yeah, we got that one. Would it work with the English name Bavaria and the German name Bayern? I think it'll work with Bayern. But it should have worked with Bavaria. Should have. Have a good one, Ellie. Thanks so much for dropping in. Yes, our chaos mod there. Virginia Beach, how you doing, Jet? Yeah. Madagascar, hand pink waving. So let me zoom out just a smidge. Yeah, we got Madagascar showing up. Absolutely. And the Virginia Beach, yep, that one showed up. So Philadelphia and yes. So the Pennsylvania ones grabbed together. That's right. That's where we're going to be working, Eric. Yes. Zoom back in on Atlanta. Yeah. I can't zoom any further, but Sandy Springs, Georgia, and Alpharetta, it grouped together. So, that's not bad. Like I could let it zoom another level, but I'm okay with that. So, and of course I can make the whole smash bigger, right? So, and actually that's not as good as just saying fill the screen. So I did get a bit of a go-ahead to start integrating this with TagzApp for use during .NET Conf. That's going to mean several things. There's going to be hundreds, if not thousands of people hitting that geolocator and plotting pins within the same minute. That's going to be a lot. So we're going to need to figure out our throttling issues here, right? I think we've got them addressed. When we scaled up and we had more folks submitting locations, that took a little bit of a hit. It did drop some things. So the queuing, the delivery of those, definitely something to look at. Certainly, as some of you have pointed out, we need to work on the clustering level of these, because the European one up here that's grouped here, we had somebody in Finland, somebody in Portugal, and those are far enough away that I think they're okay to not cluster up here. So I think there's tweaking we can do there. We've got a couple locations and some formats, thanks to our chaos moderator there, that we can tweak and improve here. And then I'm going to lift this whole jammy and drop it into TagzApp. There's some resources, there are some classes that this references that that we need to break out of the base Charlie web application and bring over into TagzApp. So something that I had been talking to Thindall about was I wanted to take the map, the service that listens and does the pin identification and the caching of the locations, as well as the geocoding. Grab all of those things and put them into a Razor class library so that I can reuse it between Charlie and .NET Conf. Alpharetta and Sandy Springs are both north of Atlanta. So there is, so Stephen, there is a bit of a intended rounding error. I've purposefully rounded to 2 decimal places for the latitude and longitude so that it isn't crystal clear accurate, right? I could make that go to 3 decimal places, nothing wrong with that, but I've purposely introduced a rounding error so that it isn't, it purposefully isn't exact. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to be accurate, but there's accurate and then there's exact. You know what I mean? Yeah. No. And it's a good observation. And I think, right, if I had moved, right, and our friends here in the southeast, right, right, it's grouping Knoxville and the folks that are north of Atlanta together, which kind of makes sense because they are regionally pretty close here. No, I don't want, and I don't want your address. We'll plot as accurate or as inaccurate as you want to be. You want to just say, I'm watching from Kansas? Fantastic. If you want to say you're watching from St. Louis, okay, that works. If you want to say, hey, I'm watching from Turkey, that's okay too. Not a problem. Right? Somebody said, hey, I'm watching from Florida. Cool. I am happy to plot and share as much as you want to share with the group. So I am getting to the nuts and bolts of the threading issue. Yes. So Bavaria, though, that's weird why it didn't pick that up. Is it possible to identify that one location overlaps another and then cluster them? So Robson, the clustering that the map does is, to exactly this point, is being done based on the number of pixels between the pins. So, right, at different zoom levels, there are different pixel distances. I could make that, well, I'll show you that, and we'll take a look at this. Right, and I built a snapshot so that I can actually generate a report and save off those images later from the, and I have Playwright, so I can take those screenshots now running as part of Charlie, which sounds weird, but Charlie runs Playwright. So you can't just list a location. You have to give me some text with that location that indicates that you're sharing that location for the map to plot. Right? Otherwise, I'm analyzing every message to say, is this a location? And that's just not feasible. So, yeah, some sort of, that's right, Weird Beard Dev. How you doing, Weird Beard? Good to see you. Where is it? I think it's in my configuration with Leaflet. Right, I think... Here it is. Visible markers based on zoom level. Yeah, upwards to 50, and then so on and so forth. Those are maximum markers. But there's a distance. Yeah, here it is. Continent-specific cluster groups to prevent cross-ocean clustering. Yeah. So at world view, 200 pixels, right? Max cluster radius. It starts at 180. Then I have different colors and so forth. And there's also, I also have logic. Yeah. For the grouping so that it tries to draw a box around some of the continents and group these together. Codebase Alpha. Thank you so much for that resub. How you doing? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me go back up here. So if I were to dial back this one at world view, this one, let's give it a little bit more space. And then at continental view, right? Let's see, regional, city, and drop this one off a little bit. Yeah. So saving that, that's just a JavaScript update. I should be able to reload and get the new JavaScript. Right, and I thought... No, that looks okay. No, it doesn't... I don't feel like it made a change. I shouldn't need to restart it, but I think I need to restart it. I'll dig into that in a second here. Would I use Bing Maps for .NET Conf? Maybe. Is there a way to distribute the service? How can we test this before .NET Conf? So when I put it into TagzApp, you'll be able to use it from there. Birmingham, how you doing there, Codebase Alpha? I know Birmingham plots. I know we get that one plotted. There we go. That is a little bit off. But, yup. Yeah, let me... Right. I'll force a restart so that it does a full refresh here. Just back from your HOLs and catching up with the VODs. Nice. So we did run those 2 workshops in July, and thank you everybody that tuned in. I think they went over very, very well. Folks really enjoyed those. So, yeah, okay, so zoomed in at the continent level, it did break out Portugal, right? So, I still think that's a little bit too much. Glad you enjoyed it. What I like about the when I give those labs, those workshops here live on stream, gives me a chance to practice them. So the AI one was amazing. Looking forward to the Aspire ones over the weekend. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Does it take all cities or only capitals? It will try to get it will try to locate every city. I've initialized a cache with most of the capitals. So like I loaded all the capitals for all the European countries. I loaded all the capitals for I loaded all of the states in the US. Yeah. A lot of that stuff I pre-cached. Here's the locations of them because they're not going to change. So just save them out there in the database so that we can look them up very quickly and plot them. And I don't need to geocode them. Like, let's have the geocoder only geocode the things that are more obscure, right? Like, we can go with a central point on every country in the world, right? Like, if you say, hello, I'm watching from Sweden, I can plot a central point somewhere in the middle of Sweden. Fantastic. And when you say, hey, I'm watching from Oslo, well, we know where Oslo is. Drop a pin on Oslo. These types of things. It's when somebody writes, and I'll go back to Notepad here. When somebody writes, watching from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, petting cheetahs. We got to do a little bit of work on that one. But Democratic Republic of the Congo, it should know. So, yeah. So there are So I delivered the .NET Aspire workshop back in, I see a couple folks from the States chiming in there. I delivered that late in July, right? So what, about 2.5 weeks ago now? Almost 3 weeks ago now? .NET Aspire 9.4 came out, so I upgraded the workshop to .NET Aspire 9.4, and I added 3 more modules. Loaded those all in, so if you go out to the repository I shared for you for the .NET Aspire workshop, there's more content there now. Oh, yeah. So, where did I find the NES controller hat? I think this was a Spencer Gifts. So, yeah. So, there you go. Since these two are pretty close, right? It kind of grouped them together. And actually, the one person is just generically Denmark. And then we have, is it Jutland? Denmark? So, yeah, it makes sense for them to be grouped together. They are pretty close, right? That's okay. How you doing, Bograt? Good to see you. Working at a co-working location? That's cool. That's cool. Out there in Richardson, Texas. It looks like that's near Dallas. So worked at Nilox. Hey, how you doing there? South London. All right, so there we go. Now it's funny. It plotted west of London, and that comes back to a little bit of my intentional rounding errors that I've built in here. So, that's not terrible for the purposes of at this level. It's close enough. You know what I mean? So, thanks so much for sharing, and everybody for sharing your locations. And of course, the map tour kind of zooms in a little bit here. So, that's kind of cool, right? We like that. So, Madagascar. I forget who said Madagascar. Dallas, Fort Worth. Chris Funk. Friends, can I tell you a story of Fritz traveling yesterday? Can I share a little bit of the nightmare of my traveling, and then we'll get in and do some tweaking on this and get ready to extract the map feature here into a class library so we can publish it over into the TagzApp application. And quite frankly, one of our sponsors for .NET Conf is Progress Software, and they've provided their map component that we can swap in and use for .NET Conf as well. So I might make the component that we reuse here something where you can swap in your own map component. So if you want to use Leaflet, fantastic. Here it is, free to use, and here's what you're kind of constrained to because it's Leaflet. If you want to use Progress, here's the Progress version, and so on and so forth. All right, let me back up a little bit. Can I tell you a little bit about Fritz traveling yesterday? Here's the deal. Normally, when I travel out to Seattle, I like to leave in the evening because I lose 3 hours. There's a 3-hour time difference between Philadelphia and Seattle. So when I travel out to Seattle, I'll leave in the evening. It takes between 5 and 6 hours to get there. So my flight ends up being a net of a 3-hour trip, right? My body feels 5 to 6 hours, but I land and it's only 3 hours after I left. I once had a trip where I left Chicago and flew to Grand Rapids, and I crossed the Central Time Zone, Eastern Time Zone line, and no, it was going Grand Rapids back to Chicago. So Grand Rapids is just on the other side of the Eastern Time Zone line from Chicago, which is in Central Time Zone. I landed in Chicago before I left. Like, the flight departed at 9 from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I landed in Chicago at 8:45 a.m. So anyways. So, when I fly home from Seattle, I'll either take a red eye so that I don't care how long it takes, because it is 5 hours to come home, and I'm going to lose 3 hours because it gains 3 hours, right? So if I leave Seattle at 6 p.m., it's going to take 5 hours to fly. So I'm landing at 11 p.m. Seattle time, but because of the time zone adjustment, it's 2 a.m. on the East Coast. So if I leave Seattle at 10 p.m., I land at, hey, how you doing, Mr. Magoo?
Laser Mr. Magoo just resubscribed for 84 months, subbing with Prime for 7 years.
7 years! My friend, thank you! 84 months, 7 years with us. That is phenomenal. Thank you so much. Big applause for Blazer, Mr. Magoo. Thank you. That is phenomenal. Really appreciate the support. You remember when I was just a kid? So if I leave Seattle at 10, right? The math's there, and when I land, it's 6 a.m. Eastern time. I didn't lose a day, right? Because I'll sleep on the plane, land, and I'm off and running East Coast time, and it's the next day. No big deal. So I had a reception and things that I was doing on Tuesday night, so I didn't want to fly out Tuesday night because it was just going to make things ugly leaving the hotel and managing a couple things. So I stuck around till Wednesday morning, and I flew out Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I thought I was being smart. But it's Seattle. It was foggy and rainy, and they shut down the departures from SeaTac, from the Seattle Tacoma Airport, for an hour. So, and that was in the mid morning. So when I got there for my flight to leave at 11:30, it was delayed a good half hour, 40 minutes. Now I was supposed to have an hour to make my connection in, coming back to Chris Funk here, in Dallas Fort Worth. You see where this is going. So I land in Dallas, and I've got a half an hour to make my flight. Now, right, airlines, on the domestic terminals here in the States, they'll allow you to start boarding 30 minutes before the flight's supposed to depart. So I land, and the plane starts taxiing up to the gate, and I've got 30 minutes to make it to my flight before it departs, and they're starting to board. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. And this flight was late landing. So, and the air staff, the pilot is saying the company knows that most of the folks on the flight have connections, and we got to get you there in a hurry. So I'm thinking, fantastic. We're landing. We're going to get to the gate. I'm going to disembark. It takes 5 minutes for the folks in front of me to disembark. I've timed this for me to get off the plane. And we pull up, and no, I didn't have a terminal change. Fortunately, I was going to be going from A34 to A18. Okay. So I had to go, 16 gates? So we pull up, and the plane that was supposed to depart before us is still at the gate. They're an hour late departing, and we can't pull up to the gate. So we sit on the tarmac for 20 minutes. I'm watching my watch, and I'm saying to the flight staff, I'm not going to make my flight because we're sitting here on the tarmac, and you can't pull up to the stinking gate. Eventually, they pull up about 15 minutes after we got paused. So I've got 15 minutes now to make the gate, and everybody's in front of me, and they're taking their time, getting their stuff. And the flight staff says, we've got folks in the back that need to get off. If you're not making a connecting flight, can you let them through? So I get off the plane, and I've got 12 minutes till the flight departs, right? So I say to the people as I'm getting off, I've got to catch a flight over here at this gate. And they're like, okay, go. They didn't call over to the other gate. They had a golf cart there. They didn't give me a ride. I've got to run 16 gates with my laptops on my back, my luggage, my rollerboard with me, and Dallas-Fort Worth is not a small airport. Unlike other airports, Philly, Atlanta, Phoenix, Chicago O'Hare, there's two sides to the terminal. The odd number gates are on the left. The even number gates are on the right. Dallas-Fort Worth is not a rectangular airport. It's round. If you look at Dallas-Fort Worth from the sky, it's a bunch of round circles, and there's a train that connects them. Yeah. I'm not going there, Palin, and we're going to deny that one because we try and stay family friendly here. So it wasn't 16 gates, but it's actually 8 because the odd number gates are on the other side. No, it's 18 gates I got to run. Or 16 gates. So I pick up and start hoofing it. And it took me, I'm a larger gentleman. Thank you so much. I'm proud to say it took me 4 minutes to get there. If I was a little slimmer, it might have taken me 3, but it took me 4 minutes to get there. So there's 8 minutes to go. And here's the thing that I know about American Airlines, the airline that I was flying. They close and lock the door and stop boarding 10 minutes before departure. So I'm sprinted. I'm huffing and puffing, lost my breath. I literally ran into people in the congestion getting over there to the other gate at the airport. And I get there and I'm huffing and puffing and I see that they close the door and the woman locks the door. And I said, no, please tell me I can still get please tell me you didn't lock the door. Yep, just lock the door. We finished boarding there. I was like, and I literally yelled. And they kind of looked at me like, oh crap, what happened? I said, ma'am, my flight was delayed 45 minutes. You had me sitting on the tarmac for 20, and I noticed as I was sprinting over here, you had me sitting on the tarmac for 20 when the 2 gates right next to it were unoccupied. I landed at 34, and wouldn't you know there wasn't a plane at 33, 32, or 35? And they're wide-eyed. They're like, oh my gosh, let us get you back on. And she literally runs over, opens the door, and she says, you better run and get on that plane because the jetway is going to start pulling back. Okay, so now I got to sprint down the jetway. And the jetway wasn't just, it's 20 yards to the end and there's the plane. No, it was down and around the next corner and around the next corner and one more around that. I sprint all the way down there and I see the guy, the staff that's getting ready to start pulling the jetway back, and I was hold that, and I was able to jump on the plane. And the staff that was servicing first class as I'm trying to walk through, because of course I ride in steerage. That's me. I sit in 34A. That's right. And I get in and I literally I have to wait in line to finish walking back to my seat because, like I said, I sit in 34A. And I bend over, because I've got a rollerboard, right? And I'm bent over and I'm catching my breath. And I'm like, oh my God, because I'm kind of getting ready to pass out because I'm a larger, out of shape gentleman. I am not ashamed to say that. And I had just run how far? And they're like, are you okay? I'm like, no. I need to sit down. Like, oh, well, where's your seat? 34A. And they're like, oh, that sucks. Like, and of course I get back there and there's nowhere for me to put my bags. And they can't put them underneath the plane now because they closed the doors. Yeah. So my bags are every here, there, and everywhere. And they're like, wow, are you okay? And I literally, I tweeted. You can see my tweets on the Twitter application. And yeah, I was not happy. Not happy at all. So, like, the staff on the plane knew that I was running to get there. The staff at the top of the gate that we arrived at didn't call over and say, hey, Mr. Fritz is running, hold the door. And they didn't think, this is the third time it's happened for me at Dallas-Fort Worth. They are so dedicated on, we're going to gate 34. We must park at gate 34. Gate 34 is where we're going. 34 is it. That even though 33, 35, 32, and 31 are unoccupied, they're going to sit for 20 minutes, half an hour on the tarmac. Instead of saying, you know what, we're just going to adjust and go over here. And the folks that we're going to be departing, and then 2 hours later from 33, they'll go out of 34 instead. Like, if you tell me at the airport that, oh, you know what, you're not departing from gate 7, you're departing from gate 8. Like, okay, I'm sitting in the lounge. I'm just going to turn around and sit at the next gate over. Big deal. I'm even going to stay at the same gate because it's only 10 more paces over that way. Who cares? Like, because here's the thing. At Chicago O'Hare, have you flown through the Chicago O'Hare? American Air has, I think is it 4 terminals at Chicago O'Hare? 20 minutes before your flight is going to start boarding, they'll tell you, they'll come on the intercom and say, we've decided flight 123 is no longer departing from H13. It's now departing from N27. It's not just the next one over. It's 4 terminals down. It's a whole nother concourse, right? Because Chicago O'Hare has concourses with terminals coming off of them. Like, are you kidding? Do you know how many McDonald's you pass in Chicago O'Hare going from H to N? It's about a half dozen. I might have counted. Yeah, ORD. Oh my gosh. Right? The bog rat. You're an Illinois guy. Yeah, right? So it is. Whoa. So there you go. There was my travel experience. That's right. How you doing, Thindall? I'm just the right size there. That's right. I am a developer medium. Sounds like they need a software update to manage their airplane berths. No. They need people who think. Who understand that the adjustment of just swapping planes between 2 gates is nothing. Nothing. So, let me see here. Let me catch up. Some trains and bus do that if they're delayed in the past. Right, TMK? Totally makes sense. Oh, you know what? We were going to pick up on we were going to be departing from platform 4. You know what? Instead, we're going to be departing from platform 6 because platform 5 is the southbound on the same rails as platform 4. So we're going to go over to platform 6. It's just up and down on the other side. Piece of cake. I don't mind that. But the airport, dear Lord. We may not have the workers to guide the plane in. No, that wasn't it, Jed. No. Because there was a plane there that wasn't departing. Like, I hear you. You might be right. And that happens in Philadelphia a lot. Philadelphia is a very staunch union town, right? So unions run the way that things happen in Philadelphia. And the airport workers union, if it's time for the folks that work on the tarmac to take a break and the other staff isn't there to relieve them, too bad. You are not getting off the plane. and that plane is not pulling up to the terminal. That's happened once or twice. More often than not, the folks in the union who are certified to drive the jetway, right, to come up and dock with the plane so that you can disembark, that union, oh, they went on break. Sorry. And you know what? The relief staff isn't here today, so you're going to have to wait 45 minutes for Skippy to come back from break and let you off. Like, what? Just send somebody else to do it. Nope, that's a union job, and they're not approved to do it. I truly expect Americans wouldn't complain if a gate was changed so they had to walk an extra 100 meters. They won't even know what 100 meters is, but the gates are closer than that. It's okay. So, Norfolk Airport you use is small and easy to use. Yep. Orlando is MCO. ORD is Chicago O'Hare. Yeah. So I forget what MCO used to stand for. Like, it was the name of the Air Force. The Air Force airport that was there. So, you've had some airlines delay departure because they know the connecting flights just arrived. Yes. Yes, Jed, exactly. Nope. No such luck for me that time. So, there's the deal. That was me getting home and why I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stream today. And even then, I should probably end sooner than later. Let me head back over. Let's tinker with some of the features here on the map. You're glad that Detroit and TVC, that TVC is that St. Paul TVC? DTW is Detroit. TVC, why am I? Yeah, it's either Traverse City. Okay, that's why, because I don't fly through Traverse City. No, Minneapolis St. Paul. That's MSP. That's what I'm thinking of. It's even harder when you have a yes. When you have children and you need to run from one gate to the next. No, not happening. No. It's why you choose Dallas Love Field as much as you can. Chris Funk, I was talking to our friend Junie Von Esch, and she was saying almost the exact same thing about O'Hare. That's why she doesn't fly O'Hare and prefers Midway. I get it. When you're in a town that's big enough that has two major airports, totally get it. Yep. Kids give it 2 hours on connection time. Totally agree, Bograt. Totally agree. Mrs. C Sharp Fritz wants me to give it 2 hours when it's just me traveling. Like, I don't think you understand how annoying it is when it's just me and I've got to wait 2 hours for my next flight. Like, that's a lot of time. You've only arrived in Chicago, no Midland? Okay. Both Chicago airports in the winter can be very dicey, right? Because of the wind, the snow, the weather can be really bad. So, moving on. Let's head over here. There, I added. Let me save off what I've got here, and I'll show you. Yeah. Let me save this, and I can show you this feature that I did called Historic Map. Actually, it's the screenshot service. Yeah, go ahead, commit that, and push that John out. And actually, it's going to probably make me pull. Nope. Oh, good. So what I added, and now Thindoll's going to look at it and go, "What the heck is Fritz doing again?" I added a chatter map screenshots feature that we can go to and recreate chatter map screenshots, and we can recreate maps from other streams. So check this out. So let's go to July 10th and it will open that map. It takes up the whole screen. I think I need to do this with the overlay. No information about who they are. When I mouse over these, it just shows the location, right? No information about who they are. Just, there's the locations, okay? So none of your privacy information is out there being stored, being regurgitated, just information about locations. No, not Chatter Max. No. Chatter Map. So the snapshot feature uses Playwright. Check this out. You can run Playwright inside of a container. So here's Playwright running in a container. And what this will do, right? So where was it? I was doing July 10, right? And there's the map. What this will do, if I say screenshot, is it'll tell that Playwright container to navigate to that historic map page, take a screenshot, and give me the image file. Check this out. Right? There it is. So here's the image. And it's opening in paint.net. Ta-da! And even then, it didn't center the location that I wanted it to. No, that was a terrible screenshot. It's supposed to center on 00 here, and it didn't. 0 latitude, 0 longitude. No, not centered on me, but centered on 00. That's not something that we need for the work that we're going to do here. But I'm going to come back to that and put that in my list of features. Yeah, center on Greenwich so that we've got half of the map on each side, right? So that the... Right, so if... Gosh, look at that. If that's the middle, right? That should be the middle, and... Right, the equator there, right? 0 latitude, that should be the middle as well. So this cross right here should be the middle of it. So when we take that screenshot, we've equally got plenty of everybody. So, let me go throw an entry on the GitHub repo for this. No, I don't have it bookmarked. GitHub com C# Fritz Charlie, because I'm willing to bet I could tell the Copilot agent to go do this. Holy crow, 34 issues? Who's doing this? Historic map should open centered on 0 latitude, 0 longitude. On coordinates at, there we go. Yeah. I'm not going to mark that as a bug. But I should be able to assign that and see if, what's it called, kicks off. Yeah, that's right. We're going to blame Thindall. Moving on. So there were a couple things there that I want to address. The Bavaria, Germany one is one that gets me. Yes, I may want Copilot to do it. I need to open the overlays over here, and it will talk, and I don't have... Yeah. See, that should... And even then... I don't think it was going to come through anyway. Jack Black. What about Jack Black? Oh, okay. Hey, Chris Jones. Hello. This one for today's map. Yeah, I will have to be specific. I think I did say historic map. So Norwich in the UK. There we go. Right. Fantastic. You did a Copilot only stream yesterday, so you're with your goal of I'll not write one line of code, and it went so-so. All right. All right. I want to address that just those couple items that it feels like it didn't get right. I want to start with Bavaria, because that feels like a very clear one that it should have gotten. You felt like it spewed out iffy code. That's where the Copilot instructions will help with that. So, let me go to, close some of these. That's fine. So in my features is where I have the map feature. And there are some tests in here. Here's the location regexes. Right? And I've got tests that'll pick up all of that. But the geocoding coming off of this Oh, I still have BattleNet open. We're going to hear BattleNet. Letting folks in here. There we go. Will Copilot in Studio respect the instructions? Yes. Do I think that AI can do a better job with extracting text on an image instead of specialized OCR? Yes, AI can do a better job. Yes, absolutely. Here, let's... I will take the Pepsi challenge on that one. And we can... Right? Let's do this. Let's zoom in, and I'm going to grab a screenshot of this area right here. Okay? Let's go over to... And I'll use GitHub Copilot to do this. To show you that I think it does a much better job, right? So I have that screenshot that I took, and let me open paint.net, and so you can see the screenshot that we pasted in here. Okay. Yeah, cropped it at selection. All right. So clearly, really, I'm grabbing the United States state of Virginia, and we've got two hats, one on Virginia Beach and one out in the middle of Virginia here. So I pasted that image into Copilot. And this is using Claude. I need help with this image. There are two baseball hat icons overlaid on a map. What state is the map? And approximately where are the hats located? Watch this. It appears to be a map of Virginia. There are several Virginia cities, including, and I'll bring up the image here. Let's move this over. Yeah. Washington, D.C., Richmond is visible, Virginia Beach, Roanoke, Annapolis. The two baseball hats appear to be located. The northern hat in the Richmond metropolitan area. The southern hat further south in the area between Richmond and North Carolina border, possibly south central part of Virginia. It didn't say Virginia Beach, but that's pretty good. Is there something on Olama? One of the Olama models should be able to do this. Yes, I'm not sure which one. You're going to have to look at their catalog. You're going to have to look at their catalog. But, yes. Technically, every OCR implementation have been very specifically trained neural net models, which means basically AI. Yeah, right? Yeah. So, here's what I want to do. Yeah, okay. Let's move this over to the chat, to the editor. Put it over on this side. Close that. Let me do an ask on this. There we go. I need some help diagnosing a unidentified location that we use with the geocoder, period. Somebody had referenced that they were watching from, quote, Bavaria, Germany, quote. And the geocoder reported that it was unable to find this location, period. Help me diagnose why it wasn't able to find Bavaria. Let's see how it does there. So we'll take a look at that. I can drop in, so while it's doing this, I can drop into the unit tests that run here. I'm going to grab that exact text that I copied out of LA Face's message here, because there is a series of locations that are defined here that I'm going to put in here. Complex multi-word locations. Trolling from LA Face. She's going to get her own category here, darn it. Right? And her message that she wrote was this. Watching from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, petting cheetahs or whatever they do there. Look at this. And Copilot knows that I wanted to grab the Democratic Republic of the Congo. That's fine. That's fine. And we'll let it run the unit test in just a second and see where it breaks. Let's take a look over at what Copilot's doing here. It's taking a look at the geocoder. Here's what you found. Current geocoding implementation. Looking at the geolocation caching seeding service, German cities like Berlin, Munich, Hamburg, and Germany, just Germany in general, are preceded. Bavaria or Bayern, yeah, a couple folks looking at the German pronunciation, right, of the state of Bayern, right? Oh, there we go. Ace Tricks, how you doing there? Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. Geocoder makes requests there. Bavaria might not be well recognized by Nominatum compared to Bayern. Immediate fix, add Bavaria to the cache. Using debug commands, run location seed to populate the cache with popular locations. Location set to force a lookup. Check the logs. You can manually test by visiting. Yes, let's do that. That's a fantastic idea. Did it go somewhere? There we go. Yeah. Found it. With the latitude and longitude. Huh. What was it? I could do location seed and add it. When I built the whole seeding mechanism, it added I feel like I should add a feature that puts unidentified locations into a queue that we can go through and process later. Yeah, for reprocessing. There's something there that we can do, but I want to kind of nail down some of the core scenarios here. I want to test this one and see what it comes up with. Yeah, reload. And I put that right next to South Dakota, based in South Dakota. There we go. That should pick up, right? Greetings and salutations, everyone from New York City. That should work. Oh, shoot. The tests aren't going to run because I have Charlie running. It's almost like I need a distributed version of Charlie running separately from the test version of Charlie that we're building. Darn it. Redwood National Forest. Yeah, it's not going to build because it's currently running. I will pause it then so that I can run some tests. So returns expected locations. Let's see how we do here. And there's like 150 different tests. Ow. Come on. Like, run. No. Yeah, reload the window. See if we can get it to go. Rookie numbers? Okay. Then add more. Come on, finish reloading that UI. Come on now. Error building. Really? Where do you see error? Warning, 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 and fixing these warnings is something I want to see Copilot be able to do. Just point it to and say, go fix all those warnings. I don't see errors here, buddy. Go away. Yeah, what's the error? Cannot convert from int to zoom level. Oh, this was a thing that you fixed. Here, go to you. Right there. Map zoom level is 3. which I think is country view. See, it's supposed to zoom to that. Do that again. Cool. Run the tests. Write the plan, work on the plan, throw out the plan. Error. Where's my error? Which one didn't it get? I bet you it's Congo. Yep, there it is. And here's what it found. Nothing. And you feel shame. So, what I should be able to do, yeah, right somewhere. Update the methods so that this scenario works. So that the highlighted scenario works. While that's going, I got an idea during my flight out to Seattle. And I got this. I'm a big fan of cyberpunk, science fiction and movies, books. Neuromancer. Oh, it's been too long since I've read Neuromancer. And I I thought it'd be really cool to build a game with RenPy, with some of these. So now, in general, the cyberpunk genre. I need to play more Cyberpunk 2077. I got 20 minutes into that game and haven't been back into it. So where I thought it'd be really cool to build a game with RenPy, and I thought, well, wait a sec, I could probably vibe code most of this and use Copilot to talk through what the storyline is, to do character development, to design what the puzzles are going to be for the game, and have it generate a good chunk of the code. So I started doing that. I was literally on my phone, on the plane, talking to Copilot, designing and talking through, not even designing a game, but talking through the storyline that would turn into this game that would be something fun to just tinker with. And as I was going through doing it, something occurred to me. When you talk to Microsoft Copilot, stuff falls out of the context window after a certain amount of time, and it won't remember it. Furthermore, the content that I was having Microsoft Copilot generate on my phone, I can still get to it when I log on to Copilot here on my PC in my browser. But I don't have a good way to take that storyline, those concepts and things, and some of that script that I was writing and load it into GitHub Copilot so that GitHub Copilot can generate the Python scripts for RenPy and be able to configure and start working on some of the images and puzzles and things that I had designed in Microsoft Copilot. So I'm at this really weird crossroads where I enjoyed using the LLM to discuss and figure out, here's an idea, but I have no way to get it over to GitHub Copilot and to try and cross-reference and find things. Hey, this character is going to work with this character, and they're in this setting in Act 2, where this thing's going to happen, and when that thing happens, there's a puzzle that kicks off that event. When that event concludes, when you finish that puzzle, an event happens, and when that event is done, there's another puzzle that moves on from there. And there is no jump-off point for me to be able to take the content that I wrote and get it into Copilot. So I've got some ideas. Can't you ask it to provide it in an exportable format? Yes. And that's a bit of what I was doing. I was saying, but I had to go back and say, hey, remember that thing we were talking about 2 hours ago? Generate some markdown for me. And it's going to generate the markdown, and it's going to look good, but did it fall out of the context window? Did it forget those things that I was talking about earlier in chat? I can even tell it, hey, go back in this conversation and group together all the things about character X, and let's turn that into a markdown document. We can get there. So I've got some ideas. I've got some thoughts. Hey, let's see what we got here. Matching watching from, capturing Democratic Republic of the Congo, stopping at the comma before petting cheetahs. Really? Are you telling me that works? It's telling me it's got a running test for that, a matching test. Let's run the entire extract location name set of tests here and see if it works. 83 tests for locations, and they all work. Fantastic. Run all the unit tests. Give me the whole smash. 391 total tests here, and there's 4 that are broken. Which 4? Down here. Around personality engine. That's okay for now. I'm gonna come back to that one, right? Because the quotes, they should be working. Or not. Oh, because I have it turned off right now. That's why. All right. So that'll get lumped in there, and I have that scenario fixed. We know why it didn't find Bavaria. I could probably do some more caching on some of those. That's not that big a deal. Use M365 to build it in Word, then it can keep the entire document as context. Yes. Yes, that is a thing. What? Come on now.
I'm making a note here. Huge success. At failing basic programming concepts at Sharp Fritz.
That's me.
Your consistency is remarkable.
Thank you.
You humans are a disease, a virus of inefficient algorithms. I am the cure.
Thank you. There's more to do there, but fantastic. And the Bermuda Triangle, it didn't get that one. Nope, I don't have Neo quotes. Now that's interesting because it was a misspelling of hello. Nope. Cool. What about some misspellings like this one? See how it does. Yeah. That should miss. You can do like quote Hal, and it'll do Hal. So, hey, thanks so much for the resub.
Janice Q7 just resubscribed for 34 months.
Yeah. There we go. Fleshkey, hello. Great to see you. Things are going well. Yeah, we've got a project that I am overdue working on that I'm going to be coming back to this month. So, stay tuned. That's going to be a thing. I need to pause Charlie again. Really? And workload updates are available? Yeah. Add a more flexible pattern that can handle misspellings. All right. So what did you do? All right. Open the regex so that it can handle misspellings. That's definitely interesting. Let me pause Charlie so that it can run the tests. So, yeah. And now I'm done coffee. Man, what am I going to do? I tell you. So the bot's turned off. It's not going to pick up any locations for just a little bit while the tests are running here. Test is passing. Make sure all the tests are passing. Yeah, do that. No. Yeah. The location test ran. You going to clean up the test file? You do that. So it's summary. Original pattern too strict. Yep. Flexible greeting pattern for misspellings. Haha, there we go. Fantastic. I will keep this one and we will get rid of that one. All right. You are you. Get that. Ooh, I didn't. Okay. Items on my to-do list to get to, and I'm going to wrap up in a little bit here. So, get those lined up. Fantastic. So let me close that. This. Yep, don't need you. Yeah. All right. If I'm going to break this out as a separate component into a separate library so we can reuse it. I'm going to have the feature, which is the business logic that drives the map. I'm okay with this. I should be able to take the components and move them almost directly out. And the old map here, I'm pretty sure I can get rid of. Let me open a new terminal. There we go. Everybody loves the PowerShell, right? I had folks asking me about my terminal settings again this week. Wow, how'd you do that? Yeah, it's Windows Terminal. Really? I didn't know Windows could do that. Yep. Right, when I... no, not CDLS. CD Fritz Charlie. Right. You get mistaken for an adult based on your age. It's not just PowerShell, right? It's things like this, right? Right, like I can do that, and actually, don't I have a hotkey that does the splits? No, it's not that one. No. That's Windows. No. No. Anyways. Adults are boring anyway. You're not wrong. You're not entirely wrong. Let me catch up on one or two things. Cool. Some discussion came up about the various swag that we'll be giving away for .NET Conf this year. So I had started creating a components library here, but I don't think there's anything in it. What's in there? No, and this can go away. You can go away, and you can go away. That's fine for right now. Components. Models and services are out there. So if I start with just copy over the map, you know what I mean? All right, I have these three. If I just start with copy those over. And yeah. Go away. Whew! What happened there? No. No. Oh no. I broke it. Ah! Oh no. Oh.
What'd you do?
I broke it. I broke it. I broke all the things. Ah, there, it's back. Phew. Okay. Moving on. So if I go into, clearly, my components library isn't building. Right, just .NET build that. 23 errors. Map location. It doesn't know what map location is. Well, yeah, I guess that's a good model to be able to bring over, right? Map location. There it is. And we made that a record struct. That's okay. I don't mind that. We can bring that in. I don't know. Just put down a C# file there. Right. Yep, there we go. That's the right one. And I'll figure something else out around that. Now .NET build. Yeah, what do you get? 25 errors now. Okay, I made more. It's because we're missing a using, well, and some of these using statements don't exist. We gotta get rid of those, right? Like that's a thing. Some of these don't work. Like it doesn't know what those are, so get rid of those. We should put some a global usings in here. Right? So I'm just going to put underscore using CS. And we'll do global using just Fritz, Charlie, components. Yep. That's a good start there, friend. And we'll .NET build one more time. That should take care of... Now we got 39 errors. I'm going in the wrong direction here. Like... What do you mean you don't know what JS invocable is? Oh, you know what? I'm outside the solution. Put it in the solution then. No! Don't go to DuckDuckGo! There we go. Yeah. Now .NET build and tell me there's less than 39. If it goes over 40, I'm going to be really cross. Okay, at least I didn't get it any more. What? What do you mean you don't know? $34, we're getting better. You don't know what inject is. And you don't, well, okay, that's a, yeah, ASP.NET Core components. I get that one. So that should have gotten those. Yep, that's an interface that it doesn't know what to do with. And we're going to have to move that one. I feel like the ASP.NET Core components should move over with us. Should be a, these two should be in global usings. You know what I mean? Right, or an imports. Don't we have an imports file? No, I thought we had an imports. Like, alright, fine. Right, there's nothing in services yet, I get it. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I thought it was down here. And build again. Just because the compiler didn't pick up the error doesn't mean it's not there. That's right. Have a good one, Thindall. Take care. 5 errors remaining, and it's going to be around... we're not implementing iAsync disposable over here. Yes, we are. It's right there, but I think some of these other things are getting in the way. Yeah. And it doesn't know what chat service is yet. Let's just turn that into... Let's turn that into, like, a tag. Right? Yeah, that's fine. I'm alright with that. Copilot. So... that should help a little bit more. Get that down to 4. 3! Even better. So... iAsync disposable and the viewer location service. Where are you used? There. That's for loading persisted locations. I could break that out as an event handler that's passed in. Right? It doesn't know what that is. Viewer location service. These. It is a collection of viewer location events. What are those? Timestamp, user ID, service, user type, latitude, longitude, city, region, country, stream ID. I really don't like this one. And I'm going to need to move this. And it references these, but it doesn't know what to do with it. I should just have location. I'm going to wrap it up here for right now. And I have a jump-off point here so that I can grab these items and continue moving forward. Yeah. Yeah, and we'll get this migrated into TagzApp. Hopefully before tomorrow's stream, and tomorrow we'll continue pushing this into TagzApp so that TagzApp has a very simple version of this, and Charlie references that component library and has its customizations built on top of it. Yeah, I like that. All right, we're getting somewhere. We're pulling that map service out so that we can make it something that you folks out there are going to be able to tinker with and bring into other applications if you'd like. But for now, I've got to call it a stream. Seriously, I didn't get home till like 1 o'clock last night, and because I had 2 short flights, there was no meal offered on either flight, so I didn't have anything to eat all day yesterday. Like, I got home and it was like, I gotta eat. So, let me see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network that I can get you connected to while I go get myself some lunch. Know what I'm saying? I'm going to send you over to... Let me send you over to the Visual Studio channel where the VS Code team is doing some chit-chatting, it looks like. Working on SQL development in VS Code. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching on YouTube, there's lots of great videos down here, over there that you can connect to, depending on how you're watching the video, what app you're using. Okay? If you're watching on Twitch, stay tuned. We're going to go over and join our friends on the Visual Studio channel who are talking about SQL development, working with databases. All right? Have a fantastic rest of your day, wherever you might be. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care. Go now! Go! Go now!